will get you more visibility. If you make a great video and you put it on your YouTube channel, unless you have followers, no one's going to see it. So how do you engage through other tools and opportunities, and why Sam and Brent are going to be able to talk a little bit more about kind of what the creative elements are of those different pieces, and then also what the technical elements are about how you display those pieces. That's how we're really going to cover. So we want to sit back and see if you have any immediate questions, or if we can keep going. I've got some ideas here to kind of help facilitate what makes a good video, or you can come up here too, right? Yeah. Come on up here, yeah. Yeah, and then so it'd just be more about, let's help make sure that everybody knows what are the 3 most important things about a good video. Let's take a moment to get a reset for everybody, because we'll get into a little bit more detail. We just want to make sure you guys have a grounding. We never know exactly what they're going to cover.
So I think that they actually covered a bunch of things with ads, but we do it more on the creative side. So something that's really similar, they talked about audience a lot. So knowing who you're making your video for and making sure you have that set, you have that idea in your mind before you go forward with your video. So they mentioned that a little bit with ads, but also at the onset of your video when you're making it, that's super important to think about as well. Something else I would say is tone is very important. You kind of saw that with our video a little bit earlier that we showed. We have kind of a fun tone to most of our videos, and we try and maintain that. That's kind of our brand that we sell a little bit. So making sure that your tone is kind of similar across the board with your company, your personal brand, and all of that. The third thing is what, I guess. So it would kind of be why, what, and how. So the how would be your tone, the who would be your audience, and then also what you want to show. And so making sure that your kind of creative concept at the onset is really locked in place, because it can get a little bit messy if you kind of have questions or try to figure that later on. So kind of when you sit down to think about what you want your video to look like and feel like, making sure you kind of have that conversation with yourself or coworkers or whoever you need to before you get started.
Yeah, that actually encompasses a lot of what I was thinking as I was watching that, because I realized that they talk about the ad platforms and everything, but what I've noticed in local businesses, especially, and like around here, but really any smaller business, is actually having the video. Like, how many people here have a video for their business that they're like, this is killer, like this is going to show off who I am, it's going to get a bunch of people. Can you show of hands? We got a few people. Yeah, exactly. We saw a couple earlier on, but it's really hard. So I think having those in mind is really, really important. Thinking about who your business is, so you want to think about you and your customer. So who you are as a business, you want to keep things kind of consistent. So if you have like your brand, the way you take pictures, kind of the things that you show off in those, keep them consistent, because that way you can have your ads kind of integrate together. Like they can look different on different platforms, but also there's things like Facebook Canvas. I don't know how many people have seen those, but those are the really cool interactive ads that you click into it and you scroll through it. It can have videos in places, it can have collections of pictures, it can have 360 images, all in one ad. So if you can connect everything you've got in together, then you're really showing off your business personality. And then thinking about your customer, so you want to think about why they want to pick you, why they want to engage with your business, and you want to think about the elements that you want to show off in that particular video and the elements that you just want to have kind of in the background of all of your videos. I don't know, how many people here have actually seen the purple commercials that they talked about? I've seen quite a few, and I'll be honest, that is probably one of the few YouTube commercials that's like a full-length one, not the shorter ones, like 3 minutes. And they're one of the few ones that I don't skip. I watch the purple ones because they're either really informative or they're really funny. And I think that they really captured who they want to advertise to. And so since they have a great video, they're able to use those platforms to, like you said, remarket and retarget. Yeah, and then the targeting that they talked about, the new things that they're coming out with, those are really similar to like Facebook's targeting. So you can target the same thing across platforms. So you can target people who are looking to buy a new house, looking to buy a new car, and you can target those life events both on Facebook and Google now. So, and in the marketing world, the more touches that you have in a person's life, the more consideration they have for your business, the more they trust you. So, yeah. I think we can, if anyone has any questions or want to go ahead and start a conversation about anything, we can move forward with that.
So you've got a business. You want to talk about it for a minute or two. We'll take a turn. Gene.
I just wanted to ask about live video not directly related to ads.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of any of the video work I have is not really an ad. It's almost all live stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tie that into this same method? I'd like to make it more effective than just, hey, Barricade Music Productions is live today. It's like, well, so what?
Right. I think that you can use ads and announcements to announce when you're going live, but also when you're talking about getting those captures, talking about with your videographer, just saying, okay, we need like a few areas where it's like a short clip, 6 seconds or 10 seconds. So you're like, I would use this for an ad because you can make it into a follower ad. So just kind of like planning that through with whoever's taking the video to be able to capture the really impressive, something that just gets everything that you want to show off in like 10 seconds.
And yeah, go ahead.
There was a word there. Statement.
Yeah, there's a word there too. You use bumper ads. Anybody ever heard that term in here? Okay,
Yeah, so those are the 6-second ones on YouTube that you aren't allowed to skip. If they're 20 seconds, 30, or over that, then people can skip them after the first few seconds. But the bumper ads are designed that your entire video, everything you want to put on there gets to play throughout and they can't skip it. So if you have a message that you can get across and show off really well in 6 seconds, those ads have the best view through, they have the best engagement. But obviously getting everything you want in 6 seconds it's a special challenge.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that I actually went to a workshop about a little bit of Facebook stuff last week, so it's funny I didn't mention that. What I learned and thought was interesting is that live videos are going to be more and more important because Facebook has changed their algorithms a little bit. So videos on Facebook are going to become more important than ever if that's the platform that you're utilizing. It more so directs you to family and friends and people liking and commenting things. It's going a little bit away from businesses. So making sure that your content is engaging, your live videos are engaging is really important to make sure that people are seeing your content. So I would say it's more important than ever.
Yeah, I saw that too, where they'll start showing like businesses and pages less in the newsfeed automatically and more of like friends things. So yeah, something to kind of watch out. That's where you can create shareable content, that would be even better for that platform. Yeah.
So this is a really specific question, so it's not too crazy or anything like that. I noticed that a lot of these YouTube videos start off with I always see them from very profitable, successful companies like Masterclass or that spend a lot of money and take a lot of time and make very high quality videos. They're extremely well filmed, they look great, they're obviously using very expensive equipment to do it. I have like a mid-shelf Canon camera and I use the Adobe Suite to make videos and things like that as well. Do you have any recommendations on something that can increase the quality of a video that doesn't necessarily have the capacity to be as high quality as the one from Sense platforms?
I would say, going back to kind of like the creative end of it, having that wow factor in your content and your videos is probably where you're going to gain the most views and get to watch your content. I think, obviously companies like that have a lot more money to spend, and so they're able to very nice equipment and things like that. But I think you have a video that's really engaging and gets people excited about your company, then I think that's really probably the best route to go. But I think that all of that is a great place to start with whatever software you have, whether it's iMovie, Adobe, whatever. I think that kind of just, learning by utilizing it and learning the equipment is a great place to start. And then later on you decide to go for the more expensive equipment and go that route. I think that's fine, but I think that you can create really great content with what you've got.
Yeah, I think the big ones, they kind of have the wow factor just because it looks like a show or a movie right off. But I think that when you can create kind of quality video and you start out something just instantly with an attention grabbing whatever in the video, comment, picture, anything.
This goes back to the marketing principle behind this. What is your unique positioning statement? What is your unique brand? This is for those of you that were at Bricks and Clicks in the last 2 weeks when the city of Harrisonburg and SBDC and Harrisonburg Downtown Renaissance got together. They talked about how do you make yourself unique? How do you get across who you are? You are the best of something, or the only of something, or the first of something, or a family owned. That was an example of a business that was competing with Lowe's and Home Depot. Family owned and been around for 40 years. Who would you want to have in your house? The person that has the family experience and lineage, where that kid was growing up on in the showroom, if you can convey that kind of messaging and find that unique value that sits with your audience. And is it possible to target these ads to a geographic area?
Oh yeah,
specific?
They were talking about the location extensions on there. So like in Google My Business, when you're running ads, there can be like a little ad thing on the map, and it'll show where a different business is. Now that same thing will be on YouTube. So if a YouTube ad comes up for a business that's within the like right geographic location, then it'll list the business information and their location underneath that ad. So yeah, you can get really granular as far as that goes too.
So how many of you feel like you know that you have a local business that really wants to focus within a certain radius that you want? You have retail. What's your business?
Real estate.
Real estate. Okay, so you have a very clear area, but you might be wanting to get Washington, D.C. people to buy a house down here.
So
So-
we do some Facebook advertising.
Right. So you're running different campaigns, and that's an important thing to think about. Not one campaign for everything. And you have to kind of figure out where to bang the buck. Last week's event, Bricks and Clicks said you get a whole lot of money if you save a whole lot of money if you invest on people you already have and make sure they come back to you. But you also need to get out, get expanded lists, new business. Yes.
This is more for you.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna say. Such a wide range, but maybe help me know how I can get a better idea of budget. Wanted to create something more professional, and I know it's a wide range. But
Andy is our guy for that, but sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah, no, it's just budgeting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to be able to say
Definitely.
this much money. So.
I don't know how much I can go with this. We bill hourly, and a lot of it is, we bill for creative, shoot time, things like that. And so I guess it depends. If it's a 30-second project, it could be 800, 1,000. If it's a much longer project, we've done some documentaries that are 7 minutes long. It kind of depends, but that's something, it kind of depends on what you're looking for, and that's the way that we handle that is Andy's, as you kind of saw in our video, he's the first person you meet during the whole process. So usually people reach out to him and are like, this is kind of what I'm looking for, what I'm interested in, we need to discuss this. And then it's at that point that he works with you to figure out what you're looking for, how long that's gonna be, what platforms you're looking to put that on, and then at that point we should talk about the price. But those are some kind of vague numbers that I can give. I don't know how much I go into
It
that.
probably also depends if you're doing some really creative animation effect or something like what they were doing.
or hiring talent.
Right.
Yeah, and that's important to know too. So if we're doing a little bit more graphics, that's gonna take more hours. But if we're doing something that's a shoot that takes 1 or 2 hours, that's gonna be a little bit lower. And so it really just depends on what you're looking for. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, what Andy and I talked about was that if anybody did want to sit down and have a real thorough discussion about that, we would really like to give you better insight about that. We can't do it perfectly to the broad answer. That's about the best you're gonna get. But Andy and I would both sit down, talk about the video, and we'd also talk about how you use the video. Make sure there's a real campaign behind it so you can look at the total investment and what's realistic for your organization's business. It may not be to do it at the level that we all talk about it. So we got to figure out what does work. We'll help you figure out what works for you. Maybe it's a staged approach.
How do you budget what we watched today, CPA?
Yeah.
The CPA.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a bunch of ways to buy it.
Yeah. So when they were talking about that you want to do just the regular cost per click CPC for a while on those, and that's to build up conversions and automation. You can kind of learn it. And you can usually see where your cost per conversions are, and you can set it around there and adjust up and down. But if you want to, in the marketing industry, what we'll do is we'll take however much our lifetime value of a customer is, whether that's one-time purchase or if they're going to purchase from us for years and years, and then we're going to figure out how many people we had to get to click on our ads to get that one conversion, and then we take how many people had to see our ads and then click it to get to that, and then you can usually establish how much you want to pay per click or per impression. Some industries cost per click can be less than $1, like 50 cents. Things like law firms and hospitals, cost for one click on a keyword or on an ad can be like $50 to $100. It's really going to be kind of based on what you're getting based on your data already and what you establish as how much you want to pay to get those people. Yeah.
And I've done ads. So when you do an ad and somebody clicks to your page, how do you know that it actually what is there a national standard? If it's on your page, then this is the chance of them actually reading it.
Yeah, that varies. It varies so much. Like different industries, it's going to be different things.
There's numbers out there. It's like, in the restaurant business.
Yeah. If you search certain industries, you can almost always find data on how many impressions or how many clicks, how many page views you'll have to get usually get a conversion. But usually that has to be done with your own analytics, looking at Google Analytics and AdWords, and then seeing how many people came through. And there's also ways it kind of gets more into the advanced methods, but there are ways to actually track foot traffic and all of that into physical locations based on ads. But you do have to have a good point of sale system that will record all of your different events, and then you have to upload it into Google. But yeah.
Or you just go, wow, look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw much more page views on my nighttime menu, and then like the next 5 days, we saw a whole bunch of people in. Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna be another one of those answers, but so with an online store, we're doing is there any kind of a sort of vague number that if you're spending this much and getting this much return, you feel like that was successful? Just so I have something to gauge, like, what are we not doing? You know, for every dollar I spend, how much should I receive return to people?
Yeah, it'll be another place where like industry standards will kind of come in. I would be in analytics and everything. I would be looking at things like your click-through rates, because that'll if your click-through rates and your ad relevance go up, then that means that you'll bid less for ads than your competition because your quality score will go up. And then obviously there's things where it just says cost per conversion. And that's kind of where you have to take your own business model and look at how much you really want to be spending, and if you want to place a value on just getting more brand awareness and more people in. So it kind of varies, but yeah, I would be looking at your quality score, click-through rates, and then your cost per conversions.
In addition to what she's saying, some things are seasonal too.
Mm-hmm.
And if something is seasonal during your less popular time, they less.
Mm-hmm. So I would recommend anyone that experiences seasonality, or if they think that might be a factor, look at Google Trends. That is my go-to. So if I see a big drop in something and I don't think that there's any reason that should have happened based on our site, I'll go look at Google Trends. You can look based on area, keywords, topics, and see how search is going for the things that you want to advertise on. And yeah, if you establish a seasonality, then you can go in and you can lower your bids. You can, if you see seasonality in different places as opposed to others, when you have those targeted locations, you can actually put bid adjusters on those and say, I want to bid, yeah, exactly. You can say, I want to bid 25% less, and you can change that based on seasonality and geographic location. Yeah, Google Trends, definitely recommend. Yeah.
This is a question about using video testimonials, people satisfied with your product. Are there some guidelines that you could mention about that, not too long, those kind of things, or is there a place I can go to find out more about that?
I would say you mean just kind of like the video and how long it should be.
Better to have four different people or the same person twice, or just sort of effective guidelines.
I think, let's see, because I would say that kind of depends on, I guess, the people that you're utilizing, because you want to make sure that the people you're utilizing are really engaging. So maybe you kind of mix it up and have a couple different people, or if that person is, the head of your company, they're kind of the face, and they're really engaging, then you probably only need them. So it would really depend. I would say with the timing of it, from what I did a little bit of research last year, I'm not sure if these numbers are still the same, but I know for testimonials, it's usually kind of a minute 30 is kind of the length for that. For commercials, usually about 30 seconds. So it kind of really depends on what you're trying to make. Testimonials can be a little bit longer, but I know that just in general, the shorter the video these days, the better off you are. Less you're making, like the documentary I mentioned earlier, it's really long form, you're better off going a little bit of a shorter route. But it really depends on what your creative content is. And that's something that we discuss at the onset of a project, depending on like what you're looking for, what we kind of think that length is going to look like. And I think more often than not, the scope ends up being a little bit bigger and it gets kind of downsized as the process goes on just because those studios are typically more effective. Does that kind of answer your question a little bit?
So,
Okay.
kind of what I've seen going through and seeing different people's use of that, I would agree, kind of keep it short and have multiple ones with different people if you wanted to, and just put them all together in one longer one, just have that in one place. But for general use, keeping them short, and you could have whoever is talking just say like a couple of sentences, but have a little bit of an over voice introduction saying, we did this for this person, or this person got these services, and here's what they had to say. From my experience, just seeing people just talking to the camera, a lot of times like they can't quite voice and get the excitement over the services. They just get the excitement over the service they got. So if you can bring in like the exciting, engaging part about the services you're offering, and they can bring in the excitement over what they got from you, then those two things are going to mesh together, and I think that brings in a lot more engagement. Yeah.
If you had money to spend, would you buy Google Ads or would you enhance your search optimization?
I think that would depend on where you're at with search engine optimization. I see a lot of times like you kind of hit a place, like once you've done just a big burst and you've done everything that you need to, after that you'll just see like times where you need to do like some cleanup with certain factors and stuff with SEO as far as that goes. Ads, it's pretty much going to be like you can run them all the time based on seasonality, whatever your business model is. But I think that ads are one of those that's like it's an ongoing cost, whereas SEO is a big burst and then like small ongoing from there. Can you repeat that again?
See, sometimes when I do something and there's an ad, I don't want to click on the ads because it's like it's an ad. So I always scroll down about not an ad thing, and that's the first thing. I just don't know if you've been from the bar into the ads.
Yeah, I see a lot of engagement on ads, and the way that Google has their algorithm now is you can a lot of times trust those ads to bring you to a valuable page because it evaluates where your ads place based on the relevancy of your page and how long people stay on there. So if a bunch of people have clicked on an ad and then instantly gone away from it, then that ad's not going to show up very much anymore because it's not engaging, and so you probably won't see those. But yeah, I think you don't want to be low in SEO. So if you're way down and you're just not showing up in organic search results, especially if you're not on the first page in those first like 3 spots, then I would recommend go ahead and putting forth more investment into SEO, because if you're not doing well in organic rankings, then your paid rankings are also going to suffer. So I would say get your SEO where you want it, where it's good, get that burst out of the way, then continue on with ads as the ongoing spend and have like little SEO cleanup here and there.
Engagement first. If you don't have good engagement, the ads are just going to cost you a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it kind of SEO will translate over to AdWords. More questions? Yeah.
What do you recommend?
I would start out with like the SEO part, making sure that when you run ads, when your business is doing well on Facebook, you're getting engagement, all of that, it's going to attribute it to your site, and that's going to keep growing that value. So you want to make sure that you're in search and you're doing well. And then I would say that you just want to start kind of testing with ad spend with Facebook and Google AdWords, see where your engagement is, see how much you're going to have to spend per the conversions that you want. And then you can kind of base which platforms you want to stick with from there and which ones you want to spend more on.
It's also really good if you get some of these trackers installed on your website on day one.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook Pixel and Google Analytics and
Does Google AdWords give you any tracking value for installing their website?
Yeah, because you can start growing your audiences, your website engagement is going to be tracked better. So yeah, I think as part of an SEO burst, I always make sure that all of the trackers I'm going to use are in there. That's like day one SEO, whether you're going to use those audiences right now or in a few months when your SEO burst is done, they're going to be they're going to be building while you're doing your burst.
And maybe just a quick recap, because Google talk a lot about what they have they're getting to the place where they're having different kind of information, more relevant information. So Facebook has a lot of good information too about the people that are visiting. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you have a Facebook page or not, if you have Facebook business and you have the Facebook pixel, it's going to identify that person in their profile, who they are. And if that's related to maybe someone that fits your particular interests, you're going to see more and more of those people show up in essentially what we call a bucket, and you can advertise to them to come back to your site through Facebook. Even if they never had a Facebook page they went to of your site, they looked at it. They just went to your site, you had the Facebook pixel. It creates a tracking mechanism to start organizing them into a marketing bucket for you to consider advertising.
And you also get what's called audience insights, and you can look, if you don't understand who your audience is as well, then you can look at their insights from Facebook. So that it's really valuable.
It's good info for a company like I see yours. You need to know where people are coming from. It'll give you some more details about who you're actually interacting with on a daily basis. And you can see if there's trends that are emerging there. Yep.
Anything else?
Yeah. How do you get into the retargeting? I mean, I see it when I'm on the web, you know,
Yeah.
you search for one thing and where you go now that pops up.
Oh, yeah.
How do I do that as a merchant? How do I get my stuff to pop up?
So there's Facebook and there's Google, and that's where we're talking about the tracking pixels. And then if you go into your admin in your Google Analytics, you'll see data collection, user ID, and then you just have to enable those or enable remarketing. And then with Facebook Pixel, you have to create an audience, and then you can say pixel traffic from website traffic from my pixel. And so then those will start gathering your audiences, and they have to reach a certain size. I believe Facebook is audience of 500, and Google is an audience of at least 1,000. And once it reaches those points, then you'll be able to go into the different ads with targeting for remarketing, and just say that you want to remarket to these audiences, and you can just select AdWords audience. And yeah, I have my cards over here. If anyone ever needs like a brief going over, I'm always available just to meet downtown and talk about things, kind of walk anyone through the more advanced techniques or where to find things. So if anyone needs those, they're over there.
Same with us. If anybody has video questions, we've got some cards.
We have the room still, so we don't have to run out the door, but we want to respect your time, and being that it's about 1 o'clock now. And so we're going to stick around, and we're happy to take some more questions or discuss some things more one-on-one with you for another 15, 20 minutes. And SBC, is there anything else you want to
I'll
add?
just say thank you so much. Wow, it's great to have such knowledgeable experts and to be able to partner with you guys. I'm excited for the folks that are involved in the Bricks and Clicks program, John Schallert. Thank you so much for supporting that and being a sponsor. And we have the great privilege of having them as technical assistants as
Yes,
well.
we just got that finalized on Monday.
Yeah. So we're reviewing applications and trying to make sure that